My name is Pavan Singh, and this is my good friend Ros Nasir, and this is Teh Tarik with Mr. Singh.
Teh Tarik satu.
All right. Okay, welcome everybody to another episode. It's been a while. I find it's sometimes a little bit challenging to find the right kind of guests, but I definitely think I found somebody I really want to talk to today. Somebody who I feel is one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. Her name is Ros, as I said earlier, and she's this lovely, lovely woman sitting next to me. Ros, when did we meet? I think almost 10 years ago.
No, we were in school together.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah. We were in different courses, but we were in school.
Yeah, we first met when we were in school, and I didn't really know anything about Ros.
Yes.
We didn't really talk. We were in different courses.
Yes.
You were leaving school. I just started school.
Yes.
And then we re-met on this show called Fat Kids Are Harder to Kidnap. It was a great sketch comedy show. Started as a little thing, and now it's traveled the world. It's been to Washington. We've been to Paris.
Stop. No, we have.
And it's going to perform its 10th anniversary show in November.
This year.
Yeah, so make sure you catch it at the Esplanade. The reason I wanted to interview Ros today, I wanted to ask her a little bit about her life, which I found to be so interesting. Ros, first of all, tell us what it is that you do now.
Okay, so now I run How Drama Education with a partner, Melissa Sim, and she does How Drama, and I help out with How Drama Education, and we teach in secondary schools and JC, drama and education, drama CCAs, production, the whole 9 yards. So that's a full year-long job. On top of that, we do Fat Kids shows that we bring to schools, and then we show them to levels of students lah.
So you are into education and you teach primary and secondary school students. You also direct and you also act. And I know that all this comes out of a passion for young people.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about that.
I think funny thing is, I've always said this. I never really liked young people when I first started it. When I graduated from drama school, I was just like, oh man, I just wanted to perform, and I was obviously selfishness. But then something clicked. I was asked to teach a class randomly, maybe 11 years ago, and then it just clicked. I saw a bunch of kids that usually were not willing to do anything in school. They weren't motivated, and then given the right tools, they were able to do it. They were able to take on instruction and direction and put in effort to make something, to perform a little bit. And then I thought, you know what, if these kids can do it, I don't know, just something just clicked in my head, maybe I can do this. And then the more I worked with young students, I realized that I think a lot of students they need a lot of validation, and it comes from a discipline. But with the right direction, they can do it. They can make something better for themselves. And after a period of time, I just find myself so focused on making sure that the students has every opportunity out there. If they learn a set of skills that is effective, they can take the same set of skills and bring it anywhere and work with anybody. The skills, the attitude, the work ethic. I have had students who are disciplinary issues, over and over again. They just had so much trouble in school. And then after 4 years, their parents will come to me and say, my son improved because he started applying things from drama, into his daily life, into his schoolwork. And then there's an improvement. They will always appreciate the form.
Yeah.
So when I watch them and I see that it clicks for them, obviously I feel very proud of that moment. But it also motivates me to want to do more for them. It gets to me when I see students having learned something. Having made something for themselves. That's the reward I feel.
So now I want to ask you, from our time together, I remember you telling me that you had a pretty tough childhood growing up.
Adulthood. Yeah.
Okay. One of the stories that really gets me right to the bone is how you got offered a place in Berklee College of Music.
Yes.
But you couldn't take it.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
I auditioned for Berklee College of Music, and it was a scholarship to do jazz. I wanted to study jazz composition.
Because Ros, by the way, is an amazing musician, a beautiful singer. You used to sing in bars and clubs, and you had a fantastic voice.
You're very kind. Very, very kind. But we went to KL for the audition, and so we got through, and then I was able to start that right after I graduated from LaSalle. But between that period of time, the time that I first went to school in LaSalle, and by the time I graduated, a lot of things has changed. The economy has taken a plunge. It has some effect onto my family. By the time I wanted to go, I couldn't.
So your family fell on hard times.
Yeah,
essentially,
definitely. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so I had to make a decision then. I mean, do I be selfish and like press them on for money to go overseas and then just let them suffer? Or do what I thought was and what I still think is the right thing? Help raise my sister and make sure that my parents stay afloat and they don't sink into harder times.
So you stepped up as the oldest member of the family.
Yes, definitely.
And you helped take care of the family, and you paid for your sister's entire education so that she can go and get her degree.
Yeah, I think there were times that I was doing three jobs a day. For like 4 or 5 years. I mean, we were teaching full time, and then in the evening I would sing in restaurants or bars with a partner then. And then on weekends we'll do weddings, so like whoever that would want to listen to us, so that we could get in the extra whatever, so that we could save. It's about the approach, because I had to have that conversation with my parents. I had to have that conversation with my sister. When we sat down, like, I'm gonna do this. I'm not bitter about it. I understand. It's not that I'm surrendering to fate, but I'm like, this is what has come to me. This is the challenge that I've received, so I will do it. So that's why I had to work 3-4 jobs for a period of time. But it was okay. Like, I thought to myself, if I couldn't go to school, I couldn't go to Berkeley, then I would use this small little skill that I have to earn a little bit more.
But that's great. And that last thing you said, that you didn't want to be bitter about it,
and
you just accepted it.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things that I find so amazing, because the only other person that I really know closely who's done this was my father, who was supposed to go to Australia to study accounting.
Oh.
I think that was his big dream. In those days, dreaming of being an accountant was actually a thing.
Yeah.
I find that really, but he had to give it up because
dream.
Because his father passed away, and he didn't even think about it. He's just like, okay, let all that go, because he had few brothers and sisters, and he just sent them all overseas, and he insisted all his sisters also go get an education at a time when a lot of people from that culture was like, no, women just go get married. And he's like, no, all my sisters are going to go get university degrees. And he sent one of them to England, and he sent the other one to,
He sends them.
He sent them. So he stayed back, he worked, he took care of the restaurant that he inherited almost unwillingly from his father.
Right.
But he just took over. And he's not at all upset about it. I'm sure at the back of his mind he wished he did end up becoming an accountant, but he's not upset about it. And just like yourself, you and your sister are both this real, just positive balls of energy that from day one, I would never have expected this story out of you, and when you told it to me, I was blown away.
But that's so cool that your dad decided that sacrifice that he did.
And to him, it wasn't a big sacrifice. It just had to be done.
It had to be done, yes.
And for me, it's mind-blowing, Do you wish you could go to Berkeley now? Because now you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, now I'm doing
okay. And, your family's okay, and your sister's, professional as well, she's working. If now you had the opportunity, so if somebody were to send you a letter now and said, someone watches Teh Tarik Mr. Singh, sees Ros Nasir, and somebody from Berkeley says, hey, we offered her a scholarship,
because they could remember, right?
And they call you. Yeah, and then they call you and they say, oh, we'd like you to try. Would you go? Yeah,
I mean, I would love to. I would be flattered if that ever happens. But I don't, maybe no.
No?
Maybe no, I wouldn't. It would be nice to think that I would, but I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the interest has changed now.
Oh.
Now my interest is, now where I for what I do and what I like, I want to do more in education. I want to see effective education for theatre, for drama, work with youths. So maybe no, maybe if it was a different university, hey, why not? I'll try it. But
what if Berkeley offered you some kind of course in pedagogy and teaching and that sort of thing?
If they do, they have it, I'll be like, yes. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to ask Ros, before we end this interview, do you have anything that you want to say to the audience, to the youth, to people out there?
I think don't be easily discouraged. Everybody goes to school. Eventually, somehow you would have a dream. You want to do a particular thing, but other things, unintended things will always crop up. The best skill to have is adaptability. If you can adapt, you work with your situation, and you aren't discouraged, but you are encouraged by the challenge, you find that there really is, eventually you do come out the other side better. It's a work in progress. It's a gift at the end of that. It can be tough. Somebody says that, faith is difficult for those who are going through bad stuff. But have some faith in yourself. A lot of good things can come out of you believing and putting 100% on your own, on believing in yourself.
Thank you so much, Ros. You can catch Ros and How Drama and Fat Kids Are Hard to Kidnap 10-year anniversary show in November at the Esplanade. Look out for it on Facebook. Look out for it on
Instagram.
Yeah.
Of the gram, of the book, of the face, of the tweet.
That. And thank you very much for joining us, Ros. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Teh Tarik satu. No, I can't say that.
Thank you.